Hello, Gooners, and welcome back to Arsenal Daily News. What a day we have lined up for you. We are sitting here with Arsenal 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table, unbeaten at home in all competitions, and preparing for what could be the defining match of our season. Liverpool are coming to the Emirates, and their captain Virgil van Dijk has just sent a warning to his teammates that reveals exactly how much they fear this Arsenal side. But that is not all. While the entire football world is focused on this massive clash with Liverpool, there's another story brewing that has divided our fan base right down the middle. Victor Gyökeres. 7 goals in 23 appearances. The stats that have some fans questioning everything. But here is what will blow your mind. Arsenal have won 13 out of 15 Premier League matches when Gyökeres starts up front. 13 out of 15. And now club legend Martin Keown, Declan Rice, and even Gary Lineker are jumping to his defense. So today we are going deep on both stories. We're going to break down exactly what Van Dijk said about Arsenal and why it should have every Gunner excited about Sunday's match. We are going to reveal the revenge factor that our defenders are carrying into this game after what Van Dijk said about them last season. We are going to expose Liverpool's set-piece vulnerability and explain why that could be the key to all 3 points. And then we are tackling the Gyökeres debate head-on. Is he really underperforming? Or are we all missing something crucial about what he brings to this team? Why are his teammates defending him? What did Martin Keown see against Bournemouth that has him convinced Gyökeres is vital to our title charge? And most importantly, why does Arsenal keep winning when he starts? This is Arsenal Daily News, and we are about to unpack the 2 biggest talking points surrounding our club right now. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see both of these situations in a completely different light. So hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed because you do not want to miss a single episode as we charge toward this Premier League title. And let's dive straight into the action. First up, Virgil van Dijk's warning, and what it really means for Sunday's blockbuster at the Emirates. Arsenal Daily News. Van Dijk's warning ahead of crucial Emirates clash. Hello, Arsenal fans, and welcome back to Arsenal Daily News. Today we have some fascinating insight into Liverpool's mindset heading into what promises to be one of the most important matches of the season. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk has been speaking about the upcoming trip to the Emirates, and his comments reveal just how much respect Liverpool have for what Arsenal have built this season. But there's also a warning buried in his words, one that Arsenal fans will want to pay very close attention to. Before we dive into the details, let me set the scene for you. Arsenal are currently sitting 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. 6 points. That's a commanding position, and it's a testament to the work that Mikel Arteta and his squad have done throughout the season. But Liverpool, under their new manager Arne Slot, are not going to make things easy when they visit North London. This is exactly the kind of high-pressure, high-stakes match that defines a title race. Van Dijk's message to his teammates. Let's start with what Virgil van Dijk actually said, because his comments are incredibly telling. The Liverpool captain gave an interview that was posted on Liverpool's official website, and he was very clear about what his team needs to do if they want to get a result at the Emirates. Van Dijk said, and I quote, "I'm really looking forward to it, and I think everyone should. That is the only way to try to get a result over there." Think about that for a moment. The only way, not one of the ways, not a helpful approach, but the only way. Van Dijk is essentially telling his teammates that if they don't approach this match with excitement and the right mentality, they have no chance. 0 chance of getting a result. He went on to say, "There is no reason to not look forward to it, in my opinion. Another opportunity. But first recover, and then we'll focus on that." This is a captain trying to rally his troops. Try and make sure that every single player in that Liverpool squad understands the magnitude of what they're facing. And what are they facing? An Arsenal side that has been absolutely dominant at home. Arsenal's fortress at the Emirates. Van Dijk made a point of acknowledging Arsenal's home form, and this is where things get really interesting. He said, "From Tuesday on, we will definitely look at the strength that they have. They have a fantastic squad with players on the pitch, and also coming from the bench. We all know at home they are unbeaten this season, I think, in all competitions. So it is a nice challenge, and we should be ready for a big fight. Let me repeat that. Arsenal are unbeaten at home this season in all competitions. The Emirates has become a fortress. Every team that has traveled to North London this season has left without a victory. That's not just Premier League matches. That's cup competitions as well. The atmosphere, the quality of the squad, the tactical setup, everything has come together to make the Emirates one of the most difficult places to visit in European football right now. Van Dijk describes it as a nice challenge and says Liverpool need to be ready for a big fight. This isn't some throwaway comment in a press conference. This is a captain of Liverpool, one of the best offenders in world football, essentially admitting that his team is walking into one of the toughest fixtures they'll face all season, the revenge factor. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. The article mentions that Curtis Jones, another Liverpool player, is already anticipating revenge from Arsenal. Revenge for what, you might ask? Well, we need to look back at what happened last season. Liverpool and Arsenal played out a 2-2 draw at the Emirates last season. After that match, Virgil van Dijk made some comments that, looking back now, seem pretty bold. He walked away from that game and essentially said that scoring his goal was easier than it should have been. Van Dijk suggested that Arsenal's defending made things simple for him. His exact words were, "When I was marked, I think he only looked at me, so it was quite easy to get from him. But anyway, it's a little bit of luck that you need. Quite easy to get from him." Imagine being an Arsenal player and hearing that. Imagine being Gabriel or William Saliba, two defenders who have been absolutely world-class this season, and knowing that Van Dijk said it was easy to score against Arsenal's defense. That comment will not have been forgotten. Arsenal players have long memories, and you can bet that every single defender in that squad will be thinking about those words when they step onto the pitch. This isn't just about 3 points. This isn't just about maintaining a 6-point lead at the top of the table. This is personal now. This is about showing Virgil van Dijk and Liverpool that Arsenal's defense has evolved, that it's stronger, that it's smarter, and that what happened last season will not be repeated. The set-piece battle. One of the graphics mentioned in the article shows Premier League teams who have conceded the most set-piece goals in the 2025 to 2026 season. Now, the article doesn't explicitly tell us where Liverpool ranks on that list, but the fact that it's being highlighted in a preview piece about the Arsenal versus Liverpool match is significant. Arsenal have been absolutely devastating from set pieces under Mikel Arteta. Nicolas Jover, the set-piece coach, has turned Arsenal into one of the most dangerous teams in Europe from corners and free kicks. Gabriel, in particular, has been scoring goals for fun from these situations. If Liverpool are vulnerable from set pieces, and Arsenal are exceptional at exploiting those situations, we could see goals coming from dead ball situations in this match. The article asks readers to fill in the blank. After seeing Liverpool's set-piece record, I'm blank % confident Arsenal will beat Arne Slot's side. The implication is clear. Liverpool's weakness in defending set pieces could be the key to Arsenal securing all 3 points. The tactical battle, Arteta versus Slot. This match also represents a fascinating tactical battle between two managers with very different backgrounds, but similar philosophies in some ways. Mikel Arteta has built Arsenal into a team that dominates possession, presses aggressively, and can hurt you in multiple ways. Whether it's through intricate passing moves, quick counterattacks, or those devastating set pieces we just talked about, Arsenal have options. Arne Slot is relatively new to the Premier League, having taken over at Liverpool this season. Van Dijk specifically mentions that from Tuesday onwards, they'll be studying Arsenal's strength, looking at the quality they have both in the starting 11 and coming from the bench. That depth is something Arteta has worked hard to build. Arsenal aren't just relying on 11 players anymore. They have genuine quality options in every position, players who can come off the bench and change games. Van Dijk's comment about Arsenal having a fantastic squad with players on the pitch and also coming from the bench is not something you hear Premier League captains say very often about their opponents. It's a sign of genuine respect, but it's also a warning to his own teammates. Liverpool cannot afford to take their foot off the gas for even a moment, because Arsenal have the depth to punish any lapse in concentration. Liverpool's recent form. The article mentions that Liverpool drew with Fulham in their most recent match before this Arsenal fixture. A draw with Fulham is not a disaster by any means, but it's also not the kind of result a title-challenging team wants to be picking up. For Arsenal, this is encouraging. It suggests that Liverpool might not be in the absolute peak form heading into this match. Van Dijk's comments about needing to recover before focusing on Arsenal also hint that Liverpool might have some fitness concerns or fatigue issues to deal with. Arsenal, on the other hand, will be fresh, motivated, and playing in front of their home crowd. Every single factor seems to be pointing in Arsenal's favor. What this match means for the title race. Let's talk about what's really at stake here. Arsenal are 6 points clear at the top of the table. A win in this match would extend that lead even further and send a massive statement to the rest of the Premier League. It would show that Arsenal aren't just leading the table, they're the best team in the country right now, capable of beating anyone who comes to the Emirates. For Liverpool, this is a must-not-lose game. If they drop all 3 points, they'll be falling further behind in what is already a tight title race. Even a draw might not be good enough for their ambitions. They need to come to North London and get a result. But as Van Dijk himself has admitted, that's going to be incredibly difficult. The article describes Match Day 21 as being set up to be a blockbuster in North London, a game that both sides are desperate to emerge victorious from. That's not an exaggeration. This is the kind of match that can define a season. Win, and Arsenal take a huge step toward the title. Lose, and suddenly that 6-point lead doesn't look quite so comfortable anymore. Arsenal's motivation. We've already talked about the revenge factor, about how Van Dijk's comments from last season will be ringing in the ears of Arsenal's defenders. But there's more to Arsenal's motivation than just proving a point. This team has been on an incredible journey under Mikel Arteta. They've gone from a club that was struggling to qualify for the Champions League to genuine title contenders. Arteta has instilled a mentality in this squad that simply didn't exist before. They're not intimidated by big teams anymore. They're not satisfied with just competing. They want to win, and they believe they can win. When Liverpool come to the Emirates, they're not going to be facing a team that's happy just to be in the title race. They're going to be facing a team that expects to win this match and expects to lift the Premier League trophy at the end of the season. The fan predictions. One interesting detail in the article is the fan predictions section, where Arsenal supporters are sharing their score predictions and who they think will score. One fan predicts 1-0 to Arsenal, with Gabriel scoring from a corner. Another predicts 3-1 to Arsenal, with Gabriel, Trossard, and Saka all getting on the score sheet. What's notable here is the confidence. Arsenal fans aren't hoping for a win. They're expecting one. They're predicting comfortable victories with multiple goals. That confidence is built on what they've seen all season. An unbeaten home record, a 6-point lead at the top of the table, and a squad that just keeps getting better. The prediction that Gabriel will score from a corner is particularly interesting given what we discussed earlier about Arsenal's set-piece prowess and Liverpool's potential vulnerability in that area. If those predictions come true, it will be a perfect example of Arsenal exploiting a specific weakness in their opponents. Final thoughts. So what can we take away from all of this? Virgil van Dijk's comments reveal a Liverpool team that knows exactly how difficult this match is going to be. They're not coming to the Emirates expecting an easy ride. They know they're facing a team that's unbeaten at home, a team with incredible depth, a team with motivation to prove their critics wrong, and to get revenge for last season's comments. Van Dijk's warning to his teammates that looking forward to this match is the only way to get result tells us everything we need to know about Liverpool's mindset. They're going into this as underdogs, which is not something Liverpool are used to. But that's the reality when you're traveling to face the league leaders on their home turf. For Arsenal, this is an opportunity to extend their lead at the top of the table, an opportunity to make a statement to the rest of the Premier League, an opportunity to show Virgil van Dijk that Arsenal's defense is no longer easy to score against, and most importantly, an opportunity to take another huge step toward winning the Premier League title. The stage is set. The Emirates will be rocking. Both teams are desperate for victory. And if Van Dijk is right, if Liverpool don't approach this match with the right mentality, Arsenal will punish them. This is going to be a blockbuster, and based on everything we discussed today, Arsenal have every reason to be confident. Thanks for watching Arsenal Daily News. Let us know in the comments what your score prediction is for this massive match. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more Arsenal content. Come on, you Gunners. Arsenal Daily News, the Victor Gyökeres debate. Hello, Gooners, and welcome back to Arsenal Daily News. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about topics surrounding our club right now, and that is the performance and impact of Victor Gyökeres since his summer arrival at the Emirates. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. 7 goals in 23 appearances. Those numbers did not exactly scream world-class striker, do they? But before we jump to conclusions, we need to talk about what is actually happening on the pitch, because the story goes much deeper than the goal tally suggests. The numbers that are causing debate. Let me start with the facts. Victor Gyökeres joined Arsenal in the summer transfer window. The Swedish international was brought in by Andrea Berta, and there were high expectations. Since arriving in North London, Gyökeres has managed 7 goals in 23 appearances across all competitions. Now, if we are being honest with ourselves, that is not the return Arsenal fans were hoping for from their main striker. Questions have been raised about why Andrea Berta signed Gyökeres in the first place, especially given what people are calling a barren spell in front of goal. When you bring in a striker, you expect goals. That is the simple truth of football. Strikers are judged on their output in the final third, and right now, Gyökeres is not delivering the numbers that would silence his critics. But here is where the story gets interesting. Despite these concerns about his goal scoring, club legend Martin Keown has just jumped to his defense. And when someone like Keown speaks, we need to listen. This is a man who knows what it takes to succeed at Arsenal. He understands the demands of playing at the highest level. So what exactly is Keown seeing that perhaps some fans are missing? Martin Keown's defense on TalkSport. Martin Keown spoke to TalkSport recently and made some really interesting points about Victor Gyökeres. Now, Keown is not the type to just blindly defend a player who is not performing. He is honest, sometimes brutally so, but in this case, he has admitted that he is a big fan of Gyökeres' work rate for Arsenal. Here is what Keown said, and I'm going to quote him directly because his words are important. He told TalkSport, "I think he is a workhorse at the top of the team. They just want to get more from him." So right there, Keown is acknowledging the issue. Yes, Arsenal want more goals from Gyökeres. That is obvious. But he is also highlighting something crucial, the work rate. Keown went on to talk about a specific game against Aston Villa. He said, "I think in the previous game against Aston Villa, he made 2 very good runs, instinctive runs, and he's had to gamble a little bit more to get away from people in the box." This is tactical insight from someone who understands the game at the highest level. Keown is saying that Gyökeres has the instincts, he makes good runs, but he needs to be more aggressive in the penalty area. He needs to gamble more to lose his marker. And then Keown added something that I think is really important for understanding what Gyökeres needs to do. He said, "I think that is something you can do. You cannot wait for the ball. You have got to make up your mind to make those runs." So that is something those relationships need to improve. This is about partnerships, understanding, chemistry with his teammates. These things take time to develop, especially for a player who joined in the summer and is still adapting to a new league and a new team. The Bournemouth game, a perfect example. Now let's talk about the recent match against Bournemouth, because this game perfectly illustrates what Keown and others are talking about when they defend Gyökeres. Arsenal won this match, and Gyökeres played a key role in the team's second goal. Notice I said key role, not that he scored the goal. And that is exactly the point. What Gyökeres did against Bournemouth was attract defenders. He pulled multiple Bournemouth players toward him, which opened up space for his teammates. This is not something that shows up in the basic statistics. You will not see assists for this type of play. But if you watch the match closely, you can see the impact. Think about it this way. If 3 or 4 defenders are constantly worried about Gyökeres, constantly tracking his runs, constantly positioning themselves to deal with him, that means other Arsenal players have more freedom. That means Martin Odegaard has more space. That means Bukayo Saka has more room to operate. That means Gabriel Martinelli can find pockets of space that would not otherwise be there. This is intelligent football. This is a kind of contribution that does not always make the headlines, but it wins matches. And apparently, the players themselves recognize this. Declan Rice jumps to his defense. Following the Bournemouth win, Declan Rice also leapt to Gyökeres' defense. Now, Rice is not just any player. He is one of Arsenal's most important midfielders, a leader in that dressing room, and he highlighted the importance of the striker to the team's lead position. There was even a debate on social media asking people to agree or disagree with the statement. Declan Rice's first goal does not happen without Victor Gyökeres. Now, I have seen the comments, and opinions are divided. One fan pointed out that all defenders swam to Gyökeres like flies, and this allowed others to score. They went on to say that Gyökeres will score when played in front with space rather than behind. They noted that he creates chances by removing 3 or 4 defenders, and that blind people can see this. Another fan disagreed, saying that Victor played a part in the build-up of the goal. So even among supporters, there is recognition that Gyökeres is contributing, even if the goal tally does not reflect it. When your teammates are defending you publicly, that tells you something. It tells you that they see the value you bring. They see the work you are doing. They appreciate the sacrifices you are making for the team, and in football, that matters. Team chemistry, mutual respect, understanding each other's roles. These are the foundations of successful teams. Gary Lineker adds his voice. It is not just Arsenal legends and current players who are seeing the value in Gyökeres. Gary Lineker, one of England's greatest ever strikers and now a prominent pundit, also praised Gyökeres following his display over the weekend. Lineker knows a thing or two about playing as a striker. He understands a position inside and out. For him, to praise Gyökeres tells you that there is something they're worth recognizing. What we are seeing now is a newfound acceptance of Gyökeres' role in the team. People are starting to understand that modern football is not always about the striker scoring all the goals. Sometimes, the striker's job is to create space, to link play, to work tirelessly for the team. And if that work leads to victories, then the striker is doing his job. The statistics that really matter. Now, here is where things get really interesting, and this is a part that I think should make every Arsenal fan sit up and pay attention. Arsenal have dropped just 4 points from the 15 Premier League matches in which Gyökeres has started up front for the team. Let me repeat that. 4 points dropped from 15 matches. That is an incredible record. Think about what that means. Arsenal are winning match after match after match when Gyökeres starts. And you know, when the only 2 occasions were that the Gunners failed to win with Gyökeres starting, away at Liverpool and the 1-1 draw at home to Manchester City. Those are 2 of the best teams in the Premier League. Those are incredibly difficult matches for any team. So Gyökeres has started 15 Premier League matches, and Arsenal have won 13 of them. That is a win rate of 86.6%. Those are title-winning numbers. Those are the kind of statistics that you simply cannot ignore, no matter what you think about his individual goal tally. This is what we call the bigger picture. Yes, 7 goals in 23 appearances is not spectacular, but if the team is winning consistently with him in the lineup, then clearly he is doing something right. Clearly his presence is making Arsenal better as a collective unit, understanding the modern striker role. I think this is a good moment to talk about how the striker position has evolved in modern football. Gone are the days when the number 9 was judged purely on goals scored. Today's strikers are expected to do so much more. They press defenders. They drop deep to link play. They make runs to stretch defenses. They create space for others. Look at what the article says about fan reactions. One supporter pointed out that Gyökeres keeps the defense busy, charging them left, right, and center. This gives chances for his teammates to capitalize and punish the opponent. That is exactly what modern strikers do. They are not always the ones finishing the chances, but they are creating the conditions for their teammates to succeed. Another fan simply said Arsenal are much better when Gyökeres starts. Another said better 100% up Gunners. These are supporters who are watching the matches and seeing the impact, even if the goal tally does not reflect it. The relationship building process. One thing that Keown mentioned that I think deserves more attention is the idea of relationships improving. He said that Gyökeres needs to build better relationships with his teammates to get more from himself. And you know what? He is absolutely right. Football is a team sport, and understanding between players is crucial. When a striker makes a run, the midfielder needs to know that run is coming. When a winger cuts inside, the striker needs to know to make space. These are not things that happen overnight. These take time, training sessions, matches, conversations. Gyökeres joined Arsenal in the summer. It is now January. That is roughly 6 months. In the grand scheme of things, that is not a long time to fully integrate into a new team, a new league, a new style of play. Mikel Arteta has very specific demands. He wants his strikers to do certain things, to be in certain positions, to make certain runs. Learning all of that while also adapting to the Premier League is not easy. So when Keown talks about relationships needing to improve, he is acknowledging that this is a process. Gyökeres is not the finished article at Arsenal yet, but the foundation is there. The work rate is there. The willingness to sacrifice for the team is there. The intelligence to make good runs is there. Now it is about refining those things and building that chemistry with his teammates. Arsenal are a winning machine with Gyökeres. The article makes a bold statement toward the end, and I think it is worth emphasizing. It says that Arsenal have become a winning machine with the suite up top, and it is clear he is making their teammates even better. Now that is a strong claim, but the statistics back it up. 13 wins from 15 starts. Only 2 matches where Arsenal failed to win, and both were against top teams. That is not luck. That is not coincidence. That is a pattern. That is evidence that something is working. Maybe Gyökeres is not the clinical finisher that Arsenal fans hope for. Maybe he is not scoring a goal every other game like some expected. But what he is doing is helping Arsenal win football matches. And at the end of the day, is that not what matters most? We can debate individual performances all day long. We can talk about expected goals and conversion rates and all the advanced statistics you want. But if a player is in the team and the team keeps winning, that player is contributing something valuable. What this means for Arsenal season. Arsenal are in a title race. Every point matters. Every match is crucial. And having a player who can be relied upon to contribute to wins, even if he is not scoring himself, is incredibly valuable. The consistency that Gyökeres brings, the reliability of results when he starts, that is gold dust in a title race. Mikel Arteta clearly trusts him. He keeps starting him in big matches. He keeps putting faith in him. And Arteta is not the type of manager to persist with a player who is not contributing. If Gyökeres was genuinely harming the team, he would be dropped. But he is not. He is starting match after match because Arteta sees his value. The players trust him. Declan Rice defended him publicly. His teammates appreciate what he does. That dressing room unity is crucial for a team with title ambitions. And now, even the pundits are coming around. Keown defending him. Lineker praising him. There is a growing recognition that Gyökeres is playing an important role for Arsenal, even if it is not the traditional striker role that some expected. Final thoughts. Look, I understand frustration from some Arsenal fans. When you sign a striker, you want goals. That is natural. 7 goals in 23 appearances is below what we hope for. Nobody is denying that. But football is more complex than just looking at goal tallies. Victor Gyökeres is not having a prolific season in front of goal. That is a fact. But he is also not hurting the team. In fact, the evidence suggests he is helping the team win matches at an incredible rate. 13 wins from 15 starts tells its own story. Maybe in time the goals will come. Maybe as those relationships that Keown talked about continue to develop, Gyökeres will start finding the back of the net more regularly. Or maybe his role will continue to be more about creating space and opportunities for others. Either way, if Arsenal keep winning matches at this rate with him in the team, does it really matter? The modern striker is not always the top scorer. Sometimes the striker's job is to make everyone else better. And based on Arsenal's results when Gyökeres starts, that is exactly what he is doing. So the next time you see Gyökeres making a tireless run to drag defenders out of position or dropping deep to link play or working his socks off without getting on the score sheet, remember this. Arsenal are winning. And that is what counts. Thanks for watching Arsenal Daily News. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with Keown's assessment of Gyökeres? Are you happy with his contribution, even without the goals? Or do you think Arsenal need more from their striker? Drop your comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Come on, you Gunners.